Imagine the average man stepping out of a lake. Man, this is literally all we want. A little body and facial hair, a little muscle, a little fat. It's that simple. And then some guy points out that women don't ask for much. All they ask for is literally Superman. Somehow, the bare minimum for a male physique has turned into being a superhero. So if you've ever trained for months, cleaned up your diet, put on a bit of muscle, and still felt mid, this is for you. Because the reason your hard work will never be enough? Physique inflation. Alright, think about the average gym goer back in the 1970s. A lean build, a bit of muscle, maybe visible abs. That was elite. If you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger back then, you were on top of the world. Fast forward to today, and an average dude with a decent bench press and visible abs would barely stand out on Instagram. The bar has been raised so high that the physiques we used to call peak are now considered just the starting point. If you open your feed, you're going to see influencers with year-round six-pack abs, 3D shoulders, paper-thin skin, all presented as normal. You've probably already seen this today. We see these images so much that we start to believe that this is the baseline. The reality is that level of conditioning, size, and leanness used to take years of dedicated bodybuilding, and it was still rare. Now with perfect lighting, Photoshop, and a little chemical help, anyone can look like a mini superhero for a few pictures. So next time you wake up feeling a little bit mid, just remember that you're not behind. It's just that the standard has been inflated so far beyond what is natural or realistic for most people. So what exactly is physique inflation? Well, let's break it down in simple terms. Think about how inflation works with money. The more money that gets printed, the less it's worth. In the same way, the more extreme physiques that we see every day, the less impressive a good and strong and healthy body will feel. So physique inflation is the constant raising of the bar of what is seen as an impressive body. What was once elite is now average. And what is elite today is borderline unattainable for most people. So why did this spike so fast? Well, you've probably heard of it. Social media. Before Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you'd only see the top physiques in magazines or occasionally in a show. Now you get a highlight reel of people's peak physique every single day. Perfect lighting, angles, posing, filters. Because you're not seeing people's off days. People post the best possible version of themselves. Then of course you've got Photoshop to smooth out your flaws, pump up your muscles a bit. Or now AI can do that for you. And then you add on top of that now more than ever, more influencers are using PEDs, steroids, SARMs, peptides, but pretending to be natty. Or there is the rising popularity of people being openly about their steroid use, but that's a can of worms we'll leave to another day. And from all this posing from beyond peak standards, there's become a massive gap between what's real and what you think you should look like. And the result? You keep feeling mid despite your hard-earned progress. So how did we get here? Well, it didn't happen overnight. Let's rewind to the golden era of bodybuilding. Back in the 60s and 70s, guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Frank Zane were at the top of the food chain. They were massive for their time, but compared to today's monsters, they look borderline achievable. But their look was more balanced. Big, lean, but still athletic and aesthetic. But then in the 90s and early 2000s, the mass monsters came, and they pushed size to the absolute limit. Simply, bigger was better. Freaky muscle bellies, shredded glutes, veins everywhere. These physiques weren't just hard to attain, they were chemically enhanced to ungodly levels. Then came the aesthetic era. Around the late 2000s and early 2010s, people like Ziz showed up on Facebook and online forums. The difference was he wasn't a 300-pound giant. He was lean, shredded, charismatic, and aesthetic. And he inspired a whole new wave of young guys who didn't care about stepping on stage. They just wanted to look godlike for social media. Fast forward to now, and we got TikTok and Instagram making sure we see these peak physiques every day. But it's not just bodybuilders anymore. It's your average gym bro getting the perfect pump, perfect lighting, perfect edit to look like a Greek god for 30 seconds, multiply that by 1,000 posts every single day. So when you wonder why your physique feels underwhelming or mid, just remember that you're not just competing with your gym buddies anymore if you're comparing yourself to the highlight reel of the entire world. So what does this all do to your head? What happens when you wake up every day and you're bombarded by physiques you'll probably never have? Or maybe you might have once in your life just for a fleeting moment when in peak conditions. First, let's talk about the uncle in every gym goer's wardrobe. Body dysmorphia. This is more common than people like to admit. In the fitness world, you work your ass off, you eat clean, you lift heavy, and instead of feeling proud for yourself, you zero in on everything missing. Not big enough, not lean enough, and not vascular enough. It's crazy because the more progress you make, the more flaws you find. It's kind of like chasing ever-moving goalposts. There's always a new standard to hit. Bigger arms, deeper cut, lower body fat, and because social media never sleeps, you never get to just be? You're comparing your worst angles on your bad day to someone's perfect pose under a ring light after a week of dehydration and tanning oil. And I get it. I've felt this too. In my real life, I might stand out in my local gym, but the second I scroll online, I'm mid. Even on my best days on social media, I'm fighting for my life just to fit in. That messes with your head, man. So I get it. That's why a lot of guys feel like we're running on the treadmill, always grinding, never arriving. And for influencers, that pressure is just as bad, if not worse. When you've built your whole identity around how your body looks, what happens when you can't keep leveling up? That's why so many push further, and there's more and more influencers on gear and extreme cuts. Meanwhile, the people watching, that's you and me, end up feeling like we're falling behind. And it makes guys end up obsessing over tiny details that don't even matter for their health or happiness. So yeah, the mental cost of physique inflation is huge. It steals the pride that you should feel from real consistent effort, and it replaces it with a false idea that you're always behind. The truth is, you're probably a lot further forward than you think. But the worst part is all this physique inflation stuff doesn't just stay online. It also spills into real life in some serious ways. First off, it sets some seriously unrealistic expectations. Whether that's absurd timeframes, I've been training for 10 years and look like a Greek god, but if you do my 30-day program, you can look like me too. What are we doing? Or I hate when enhanced model physiques are representing natural products or services. Like we have this ultra jacked, shredded behemoth on every second protein powder container. Have this powder and you will get jacked as shit. What are we doing? No, it's not how it works. It's not how it works. And unfortunately, a lot of people do believe that BS. And that's why so many of us experience burnout. False expectations. And then there's the mental side of it. It's never fun feeling like you're permanently mid, despite how much hard work you're putting in. Take the Greek god look. Wide shoulders, tiny waist, shredded six-pack. It's the modern ideal. The truth is that look requires either elite genetics or enhancement, and often both. Yet it is sold as this standard. And this stuff doesn't just affect you if you're new to the gym. Experienced lifters can feel it too. In fact, anyone anywhere in their lifting journey experiences body dysmorphia, which is largely amplified by the ridiculous inflation of the male physique. And the worst part is a lot of people end up giving up because of this. And that is the true cost of all this physique inflation. All right, so let's actually talk about how to break out of this trend. Step 1, redefine your personal goals. Ask yourself, what do I actually want out of fitness? Is it to be healthy, feel confident, build strength, be athletic, or is it just to post thirst traps? And there is no wrong answer, but it does have to be your answer. If you're always chasing someone else's ideal, you will never be satisfied. Step 2, understand the difference between being strong, being shredded, and being huge. These are different goals, and trying to do all three at once is just going to fast track burnout. The more shredded you are, the harder it is to get stronger. The bigger you are, the harder it is to stay lean. You've got to prioritize and cycle through phases, just like actual athletes do. Step 3, adjust your timeline. Social media shows people at the end of their 10-year journey and then sells you a 10-week shortcut. That's not real. Real progress takes time, and if you don't account for that, you will always feel behind. Give yourself space to improve gradually. That's how you're going to build something sustainable. Step 4, build a system. Your motivation will fade, but good systems don't. Make training part of your routine, find a nutrition strategy that you can happily live your life with, and learn to live through ups and downs, not just when you're hyped. And step 5, stop comparing yourself to enhanced physiques. Look, if someone's on PEDs and you're not playing the same game. It's not weakness, it's honesty. You're trying to build a lifelong body, not just a 12-week Instagram highlight reel. So remember, escaping physique inflation isn't about throwing in the towel and giving up. It's about resetting. It's about taking back control of your fitness journey and building something that's real and sustainable and meaningful to you. So here's the bottom line. Physique inflation is real and it is everywhere. Standards have been pushed so high and distorted so much that even people with amazing 10 out of 10 physiques feel average. That doesn't mean that you have to play the game. You don't need to match the internet's highlight reel. You don't need to be shredded 24/7 or have action movie star genetics to be proud of your progress. Because at the end of the day, most physiques you see online are enhanced anyway. So what matters at the end of the day is how you feel in your body, not how you look through someone else's lens. Stronger than you were last year? Great. Are you eating better, training smarter, moving with confidence? Great. Then you win. Start following the people that keep it real and unfollow all the ones that make you feel small or discouraged. Just remember that fitness is meant to improve your life, not consume it.